Hey guys, Troy here. Hope you're doing great today. Cutting this video together for you is a question I get asked a lot as to how to stay productive. Running multiple businesses and being involved in a lot of different things, generating content, putting out helpful videos for you guys. And really, what I've come to find is the most effective way to stay productive is first and foremost take the approach of simplifying as many things in your life as possible. Now, when it comes to being productive with some of your goals and what you're wanting to achieve, there's this process, and it's not necessarily new, but it's been refined, as I'd like to think, into the two R's, and it kind of harkens back in middle school or even elementary school when you're writing rough drafts. When you're in English class, and typically, you have that rough draft process that you go through where you just get everything out on paper, get it all out there, and then go through a refining process. And that is really the two nuggets that are in this 2R process. It's allowing yourself to create a rough draft. So when you're wanting to take on a task, you typically view it as too cumbersome or too involved or too complex. And by giving yourself the permission to do a rough draft or a rough version, you get started. And there's a famous Mark Twain quote, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it essentially talks about that and really lauds the idea of starting as the indication or the the primer for success ultimately. And it goes without saying, without creating, without enacting something, without that momentum, achievement is won't be realized. So think about it this way again, guys, in a two-step process. Rough, so give yourself permission to create something that by your definition is rough, because that is another hindrance for many folks, is that desire for perfection will keep you from even starting. And when you give yourself that permission to create that rough draft, that rough video as an example, none of my videos are perfect. I'm never gonna say that much, but there'll be times where I want to make sure I get it right. So I'll do a rough version, and I'll do that completely, edit it completely. And I've kind of gotten to the point now where I just want to provide value. I'm sitting, this casual conversation where I'm answering a question is more valuable to me than setting up a set and having a nice camera and lighting and all of those things. And when I do that, it's great. When I don't, I'm not foregoing any value. So I put that first, but I keep in mind this 2R process of doing a rough version, giving myself permission to potentially fail or put out low quality, but the value is always built in based on what my goals, desires, and what I'm really striving for, what my desired outcome is. The second phase being that refining process. So let's say you want to write a book, you want to write a novel. You know, it was really enlightening for me to hear other writers recently at a convention talk about their process of going through exactly this process and how universal it is across industries, creatives, engineers, analytical to creatives can really benefit from this in giving themselves permission to create that rough piece or element or draft or whatever it is, and then go through that refining process. Identify what your goals are and compare and contrast with what you've been able to create. Um, More often than not, and this is kind of a blessing in disguise, is that nowadays with a lack of creators, we've all become critics, and so we can actually leverage a little bit of that, a little bit of our procrastination and our desire and the ease with which we are critics, and apply that to the rough draft that we've created. That's definitely been an aha moment for me. Hopefully, you guys see that as I'm explaining the rough and the refined process. And you can see how simplistic it is. This isn't, you don't have to carry a journal with you or some weird to-do list or anything weird or unique like that. Start with this process, and then I would, recommend taking a look at some other really low-hanging fruit and other hacks, things like Parkinson's law, working against self-imposed deadlines. But start with this rough and refined process. I'd love to know how it goes for you. This is, like I said, it's something that I think a lot of people, it's going to be a light bulb moment of, wow, I can let myself kind of fail through a first draft and then refine whatever it is that I'm creating, whatever it is I'm putting out there, videos, articles, novels, you name it. This is ubiquitous. So hope you enjoyed that nugget. Leave some comments for me or any questions I can answer. If this was helpful, please like, subscribe, and share if it would be helpful to any others in your network, friends, family, or otherwise. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Leave me a note, and we will catch up soon.